Let's see.
Good morning, everybody. It's another Friday special. I did one on March or last Friday, and look what I got. I got Sullivan and Jackson from, well, I guess you're actually from Golden Dragon with Marcher. So I'll let you guys introduce yourself. So go ahead.
Well, I'll go first. Hello, my name is Jackson Jewell. I am the CEO and lead designer for Golden Dragon Games, and we are the company that makes Marcher Empires of War.
Hey everybody, my name is Sullivan. I'm one of the game developers and writers for Golden Dragon Games, so I do a lot of the writing of the lore and the rulebooks and all kinds of fun stuff like that. And happy to be here.
Cool. And I just realized we don't have our, of course, it might be better if we left our faces off. Let me get rid of the deal here. Well, thanks for coming, guys. And as I try to push buttons here and get us up, there we are. Let's get us all up there. I don't like to be big. There you are. There's everybody's. Always too many buttons. So, I got Mike addicted, by the way.
It didn't take much.
Didn't take much, especially when he saw the French. It's a short. I'd actually seen Marcher, I guess, back when you were doing your Kickstarter. Then you guys were at Historicon. I was there with Miniature Building Authority, Kurt, and I had to walk by their booth. They had an in booth, actually a great location. I had to walk by your booth every time I went anywhere, and I kept stopping and looking. And I've got a rule that the first day I try to look at everything at a convention. Second day I go back what was cool. The third day, if it's still cool, then I really start to pay attention. And actually, it was probably Saturday morning when I actually stopped and talked to you guys at length. And the miniatures. Honestly, that's what caught my attention. First was the miniatures, and then once again talking to you guys about the rules, the lore and everything, it kind of pushed me over the top. Well, I brought it back, showed Mike the French. Had you seen Marcher before?
I had gotten one or two. I got a vehicle printed. I'm a big Dust fan, 1947 Dust fan. So when I saw this stuff and Alan walked in with it, he was like, "What do you think of Marcher?" And I go, "Yes." He goes, "What?" And I said, "Yes. Do you have any French? I want the French right now." So I've already posted. I've already done like 3 vehicles and infantry in the last few weeks. And it's the monocycles next. But I'm gathering up all my older Dust friends, and we're starting to gather for this now.
So, I don't do all the talking. So how do y'all guys, I know you've been around because I've been watching your other videos and stuff for a good while, but how did y'all get started with this whole project?
So the easiest way to sum it up in the way I have in the past is COVID.
Okay.
So I was a technician at a tire factory, and I lost my job, and decided that the best course of action to get my life back on course was to learn how to sculpt miniatures. And it worked somehow. So over the course of the pandemic, I taught myself how to sculpt, and we just sort of ended up here. There was a period where I didn't really know what I was sculpting for. I was just kind of making things because they were cool. And then about 3 years ago now, we decided it was time to sort of get serious. I was making a living off of things, and we had a pretty extensive miniature range already. So it was time for us to make a game. And so the game came after the first models, which is why the United States line is so huge, is because it was just kind of free form without any plans. And now the game has grown. We've got 6 playable factions and many more on the way, actually, over the next few years. We are about to wrap up. Well, I say about as if it's not 6 months to a year out, but we're approaching getting all of the great powers at their full roster size. With this next update that we're putting out, ideally next week, God help us, we are bringing all of them up to their, what should be very, very close to their final roster in terms of unit rules. And then the models will follow after.
Well, cool. So I'll switch over to Sullivan. How did you get involved?
So Jackson gave you the short answer. Really, I feel like, and we talk about this a lot together, but I feel like Marcher has sort of like been in development since like Jackson and I were in middle school. We've known each other for a really, really long time, and most of the people in the company have known each other for a pretty long time. So gathering like the workforce to build this game was pretty easy because like a lot of us have, we played tabletop RPGs together, we played war games together. So we this was just sort of like our gaming group to begin with. And we all like left for college, we got master's degrees. Our lead writer is teaching as a college professor right now. So we sort of just kind of like came together a little bit later, after like a couple of years of like being apart, and Jackson kind of brought us back together for the project. And then like we sort of started writing the lore. There was like the initial rule book was written, and then like I came in a little bit later because I was getting my master's at the time, and then like we like did like a big like rule book rewrite together. And that's sort of how I ended up on the project. But I mean, most of us have known each other for a really long time, and then like the most recent additions to the company have been like community members on our Discord who were super interested in the project that had something that they could bring on, and we've sort of kind of been collecting them like Pokemon at this point. We've more people off the Discord now. But the company's and it's really cool to everyone gets along. It's been
All right, switch this. I was just sitting here thinking about when I was talking to you guys at Historicon. I tell you, actually, the thing that kind of pushed me over the edge of jumping in was the fact that you guys have got War Games Atlantic printing, doing your first plastics. How did that happen? Because, like I said, I'm a War Game. War Games Atlantic right now, I guess, is kind of the standard for doing everybody else's miniatures. Quar, I know they're doing Josh's stuff, and that kind of really put Quar on the face of the map. I've been following that for years and years and years. No one knew about it till all of a sudden now it's super hot. So how'd y'all go about making that happen?
Yeah, well, a little bit. I sent Hudson an email and was like, "Will you make our models for us?" And he went, "Yeah, your sculpting looks good." And that was more or less it. And then I spent a year and a half bashing my head against a brick wall trying to figure out how to actually do the plastic sculpting. And it worked. But yeah, no, he convincing them wasn't particularly hard. Getting the work done to actually make it happen was the hard part.
Yeah,
Um,
and paying for the
and
slots.
paying for the molds. Yeah,
Yeah.
And that's what that Kickstarter was mainly about, was that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got 3 molds made. The U.S. Infantry, the U.S. Veterans, and the Badger hardsuits. Sculpting is complete for 2 of those right now, and I am closing in on the final version of the Badger suits, which has been really exciting. I've been building a lot of Gundams recently. Well, I built one Gundam recently, but I've been paying a lot of attention to how they're put together, and so that's been informing a lot of what I've been doing. Obviously, we are not Bandai, but I'm pretty proud of how that set is going together at the moment. Should be very satisfying, I hope.
I will say I've been 3D printing for 7 years now. Started with a Ender 3, not a Pro, but an Ender 3. And I tell you, the sculpts do make a huge difference. I've tried to print some stuff that was horrible, and then for me, for the filament, printable scenery is one of the standards. I've never had anything fail due to their print. And then because I picked up your line, now you have resin printer, and I had a person printing my resin stuff. His name's Alvin, and he printed a bunch of your stuff when about 2-3 weeks ago. And Alvin is, I tell you, he's one of the best printers out there. He knows what he's doing. And I asked him how the first print. I forgot what I printed first. I think it was some Russians. But anyway, he's like, this stuff is excellent. And for Alvin to say that, that's pretty good reference.
And compliments to your sculpting, especially the infantry and the vehicle, putting them together and then painting them, noticing all the details you put in there. I really, really enjoy your models. My French tanks are just incredible.
Well, and I just started 3D printing. I got one of Alvin's printers and resin printing Sunday. Printer's been nonstop. And I tell you, for a beginning resin printer, now I've been printing filament for a while, but it's like, wow, why haven't I been doing this sooner? Because once again, it's literally your files, throw them on the bed, slice, print, pull them off. I've zero problems. And everybody I talk to about resin printing, well, you got to do this and you got to do that to the files. I don't. I mean, your pre-supports it's awesome. So anyway, kudos to you and good job on that. So I know you said you had to relearn how to sculpt for the plastic molds. So
yeah. The plastics are very, very different. 3D printing, sculpting for 3D printing is more or less complete freedom. You can do whatever you want. You can have whatever geometry you want. You can put details wherever you want, and they will show up and look great. So long as you can get supports in to make sure that they're actually there. Sculpting for plastic, though, is a whole set of constraints. You have to care about draft angle, or otherwise your plastics are going to lock themselves into the mold, or the mold will shear them apart when it tries to come apart. And so going from that world of kind of complete freedom to this one of intense restriction has been interesting. It's a very different mindset. Sculpting for me is kind of like a puzzle. I often figure out how I'm going to do something well before I actually do it, just kind of thinking about it. And so the plastics have more or less caused me to lay awake at night trying to figure out how in the hell to make certain parts work. Thankfully, the longer I work on them, the more it clicks, to the point where I think one day I might actually be pretty good at it and not need a month and a half to make a single set work. But yeah, it has been an experience.
So you're ready for the next Kickstarter then?
Yeah, we are coming up on it, and we have some exciting stuff happening behind the scenes with that one. It's probably 2, maybe 3 months out, depending on how things go. But there have been so many developments with our with our relationship with War Games Atlantic that have meant that we're kind of shuffling the details around to the point that I don't actually know what's going to be in that one now, other than that it will contain a 2-player plastic starter set.
Outstanding.
Yeah, I don't know how many more details I can share about what exactly is going on there, but it's going to be really cool. We are more or less trying to replicate, as I understand, what they did with the Baron's War set that came out recently. So, yeah, that set. I need to work a little bit more on nailing down which units are going to be inside it, but we know for sure it's going to be a set of plastic United States figures, a set of plastic HRE figures, a set of terrain that goes in there. Ideally, our deployable terrain, which is kind of one of the hallmarks of our system. So a plastic sprue for that, which I think is very exciting. As well as our 2 rule books, a sheet of punch-out tokens, and a set of dice from Baron of Dice, which we got
That's cool.
Yeah, we got the dice recently. Actually, like we got a picture from Baron of Dice while we were at Historicon of like, here's what they look like, and they're gorgeous. They're so nice.
He makes I've had 2 different sets made for the store from Baron, and they're incredible. So once again, it's I guess it's the gamer in me to get excited about you're having Baron of Dice make your dice. That's cool. I mean, and from a retail point of view, I think a 2-player starter, that's the standard right now. If you look, I mentioned before, all the games are coming out with, your 2-player starter, minimal investment. If you get you and your buddy to go in, buy it, see what it's like. And so that's for me, that's great to hear. So that's exciting. So, Mike, I've done all the talking. You talk.
Oh no, I'm more kind of curious on I love the fact that you took I'm going to say slightly World War I setting, and you went to the earlier nationalities. That is a big appeal for me, being a big historian. For my degrees are in history, so your whole history is so entertaining and reading through it and very exciting.
And he likes the French.
And I need to know when the Neo-Byzantines are coming because I'm Greek, so that is a must. Okay.
So in terms of our next faction releases, the Byzantines are 3rd in line.
Okay.
So
I'm on the list. That's all that matters.
Yeah. So next year, our first faction that's going to be part of the major powers, because we have the ranking system, the historical ranking system. We have great powers, major powers, and minor powers. And each of those is intended to be its own book, with all the rules for all 6 factions included in that book. And so for the major powers, our current intended release order, and this may shuffle a bit, but I'm pretty confident that it's going to come out this way. The first in line is the Joseon Empire, which we're really excited for because China and Korea are underrepresented, I think, in the tabletop gaming space. And so getting to use a lot of the really interesting uniforms, and especially due to our kind of slightly medieval theming for the League of Five Emperors, which the Empire of Joseon is a member of, we get to use a lot of really decorative elements in their designs, which I'm excited for. So like the coats of lamellar plates, and big plumes on their helmets and stuff like that. So Empire of Joseon is first. Second is the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, which I'm personally extremely excited for. have a deep love for Poland as a nation and people, and so that's going to be really fun. Especially because I believe right now we are leaning towards the wings, as in the ones on the winged hussars, being an upgrade for all vehicle and recon units.
I need tanks with wings.
Oh,
Yes, exactly. Tanks with wings. And then after that are the Neo-Byzantines, who are going to be really interesting. They're going to be very, very flashy. And use lots and lots of fire, because Greek fire. Currently, we've been concepting out a lot of their stuff, and I'm very excited for the design of their flamethrowers. One of our artists, Tim, has been doing these renderings of like dragon heads on the end of their flamethrowers, which I think is going to be awesome.
well, Jackson, now you just made it worse, because we were talking yesterday, and I said one of the, have a good game when you can't decide which faction. I'm one of those that always has one or two, maybe three factions. I could build every faction and enjoy every one. The dynamic and the looks are just awesome. And now you just gave me three more to build. So, I mean, good thing I work here, because otherwise I'd go completely broke.
The hobby store discount comes in handy.
Yeah. So we talked a lot about the miniatures, and I said that's really what got my attention. But Sullivan, I know we talked a little bit at Historicon. What makes you guys different? Why in your rule set? What makes you different?
Yeah, sure. So we did talk about this a little, and Jackson and I had a conversation about this pretty recently too. So a lot of the time when we're giving like the pitch for the game, our main sort of like thing that we like to emphasize is this sort of deployable and destroyable terrain, right? So like the tracked vehicles can run over light and medium terrain. Your engineers can build terrain to build like sandbag walls and minefields and tank traps and stuff. And like that's like a really unique system. And then like we have an artillery system where you can actually destroy buildings and things like that. So everything on the battlefield is removable in some way. Which is a lot of fun and adds for some dynamic games. So we like to emphasize that, but I think like the actual thing that sets our game apart from other game systems is that we have like an action economy built into every individual unit, right? So every unit gets 2 actions, and then they have an action list, which gives you more than just like I move my guys, they make their attacks with their weapons. And like building is a part of the action list. So it's like, oh, I'm going to take the build action and build this, or I'm going to take aim and I'm going to get a little token that helps me shoot. And most recently, so we're working on 1.9 right now, and 1.9 is a monstrous patch. But one of the cool things that 1.9 is doing is we're going to introduce an Overwatch system and a sentry system. So you can like set up your gun carriages and they can overwatch, and it basically delays their attack action until somebody moves within range, and then they can get to fire. So you get to have like a really cinematic experience of like the tank rolling around the corner and then the gun carriage shooting it in its side armor. Same thing with sentry for infantry, where it's basically like the infantry are holding a position, and so they're all aiming in opposite directions, and then if someone comes up near them, half of them get to shoot their guns because they're like waiting for the enemy to come in. So I really think our action system is the most unique. We also have like reactions in the game, which is like if it's my opponent's turn to activate a unit and they're attacking me, I can take a reaction, and that gives me some options in gameplay, even though it's not even like my turn to activate. So if my unit hasn't gone and I take like the fall back reaction, I can maybe like make that unit an ineligible target, and then like my opponent has to choose something else to shoot. It sort of like prevents the problem of like your favorite unit getting removed from the board before you get a chance to play with it, which is like a big problem in other war games. So I really think like the action system is probably the most unique thing about our system, even though the build system is like maybe like the coolest and flashiest system that we have. But I'm a big fan of the action stuff.
Yeah, I'm big on games that I can react to, my opponent. He walks up in front of me and shoots me in the face and I just die. Yeah, that's not fun
Which, I mean, that
at all.
happens, right?
It does, but come on now. You do have all your rules, all your information is at goldendragonsgames.net. I just put a banner up. I'll put that in the comments too. Your files for your miniatures are on My Mini Factory. So, and you said you are going to be doing an update of 1.9. When do you think? What's the timeline on that?
So 1.9 is monstrous. Sorry. And we are working very hard on it, and our intent is to have it out this coming Wednesday.
Yeah.
No way.
That's the intention.
Yeah.
As in
like in 4 or 5 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
1,
So
2, 3, 4,
and you're going
5.
to NASCAR.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you're
we're trying to line it up so it's ready for NashCon.
Yeah.
But there are a ton of things going into it. There's this new Overwatch system. There are finished unit rosters for all of the major or great powers. There's a reworked keyword system for every unit in the game. Which was mostly a rule book rewrite and doesn't change much about how the game actually functions, apart from some minor improvements to how some keywords work. Probably the one that's going to get the biggest. Sorry. Sorry, I tried to turn my mic off and instead I coughed directly into it. Gotta love that. So probably the one that's going to get the biggest amount of attention is the sub-faction update. So every great power has a number of sub-factions. Right now, all of them, except for Britain, have 2 or 3. Britain has 2. With this update, we're bringing the total number for every faction up to 7.
Wow, that's a lot.
So it is a major expansion, and I would like to take this time to remind everybody who's watching that we are an early access game, and our final balance has not been achieved. And also, we're a very small indie studio, so when something breaks, blame our lack of experience and not us, because something's gonna break. Something is gonna break, and we will do our best to fix it as quickly as we can, but it's gonna break. Final release for the entire game is set for hopefully sometime in December, maybe a little bit later. So this update is going to come out. Things are going to break horribly and light on fire. We're going to try to put all the fires out and then release the game.
Well, I mean, I tell you, I'll go back to having talked to you at StoreCon and watched a lot of your videos and stuff. I know you got like you mentioned, you've got a lot of guys helping you out do other stuff. And I talked to a lot of game developers that try to do everything themselves. And I think that's where a lot of people fail, because I mean, already just talking, here 20 minutes or so, the stuff you guys have going on, it's even with it just, that's a lot of stuff. I mean, I can't even plan out what I'm doing this afternoon alone. Rules Right, miniatures, working with the War Games Atlantic, going to conventions, and it's just I'm impressed. And I think the fact that you say you do have these people helping you out behind the scenes, that does go once again a long ways for me. That you're not trying to do everything yourself. So good for you guys.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say my father. Once again, my throat. So my father runs recently, within the last few years, actually, runs his own construction company, or partially. He is a partner. And so he's been managing these job sites basically my entire life, putting these huge, massive houses together. And he kind of beat it into me over the course of my life that like you can't do everything by yourself. You have to have other people help you. You will fail if you try to do everything by yourself. And so delegation is a hugely, hugely important aspect of making any project succeed. And so, yeah, that I don't want to do everything by myself. We don't want to do everything by ourselves.
Yeah, I
Because
learned
the
that
work
pretty
isn't
fast.
going to be good if you do. It will. You might get it complete, but then it'll fall apart. So,
Well, and the same thing with game design. You know, I'm notorious for picking up new games all the time, and I see people that have done all their we play tested it for 3 years and stuff, but they never got any outside help, and they know exactly what they mean in rules and how it should be played. But when you have isolated and it's just you trying to figure it out and you're going, what the heck is going on here? I feel like you guys have got a lot of help with everything, including looking at the rules and how to play and all that stuff. So
Yeah,
good stuff.
that's one of the advantages of having the game early access and publicly available, is that like our Discord community is so on top of finding things wrong with the game and are very vocal about letting me know and letting Jackson know that there are
We're
things
here
that
to
are wrong
help.
with the game, right? So it's been nice, and like we don't give them enough credit, but like it's been really nice to have like such a wide net of play testers available by the simple fact that the game is just playable and the devs are readily available to like talk to you about the game. So if like people don't understand something about Marcher, they literally can just send me a message, and then I'll answer their question or be like, "Oh my god, you're right, that's horrible," and then like I'll go fix it in the rulebook the next patch. But it's been really really nice, and there's a lot of people on the game dev team. Like it's me, it's Jackson, it's Rex, it's Tim. Eugster worked on a lot of the game dev early on. Like we've all contributed to the game's design, and then like all the people that have played it on the team have also been like, "Hey, this is wrong. Can you fix this?" And it's really a group effort because there's so much to a rule book, particularly to a rule book of our size, for a full scale war game with 6 factions that all the units have special abilities. Like there's just too much text for one person to be able to like sort it out and make the system work without it just being dreadfully boring. So I really like the way we have approached the game design, and I think the game's better for it.
We're good. Mike, you got any
Well, yeah,
thoughts?
I want you guys to know that, like I said, we're slowly putting all the people together that will be play testing and painting miniatures for your game. I'm a big pusher of paint and miniatures on the table. So
He's the dealer.
yeah, I'm the one. And but I gathered up a lot of my friends who are historians, and they're all excited. We've already got, I think, almost every one of the major powers spoken for.
Yeah,
And
we got Matt on US.
Matt on the US, the
I'll
last one that anybody
I'll
picked.
print him out. You know, I'll print it. Here's your unit. Go paint. Tell me what you think. And by the way, if you want more,
First one is free.
first one's free.
But yeah, so we'll be posting some pictures. It's good when you have a store that you can build a community off of very quickly. These guys play so many different games that they'll be coming in there, crunching numbers immediately. And you definitely brought out something that scratches an itch that is not around. And you guys did a great job on this.
So yeah, I mean, we're already at 30 minutes. So, and it sounds like you guys might be busy right now. And I will see you up at NashCon, and you guys are going to be with Chris.
We've got a demo table, which I believe is with him, where we're going to be running demos of the game. We're also going to be helping him set up, as I understand.
Okay,
So
so definitely see you there, and I'll drag whatever Mike's got painted probably with me and have it at my booth to help spread the good word. So anything else?
I just wanted to say, Mike, your French models are phenomenal. They look so good.
Well,
So good.
thank you, except for the mistake with the flag. Someone called me out. My wife was like, "This is what you're embarrassed about. Everything else in your life, you couldn't care less. But this, I got called out, and it was a good call out. I should have said something about Mirror Universe, but they were dead right on me.
His flag was backwards.
Yeah, I'll be fixing that. I'm sure everyone knows about the flag by now, Alan.
There's people that's watching this for the first time. They're like, what?
Yeah.
No, not that I got to tell everybody. But anyway, what else? What's closing thoughts got there, guys?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah. I mean,
there's very little going on in my head other than Plastic Badgers 1.9 update. It's just bouncing back and forth between them.
Yeah. I've done a little bit of work on 1.9 every single day this week, and I have yet to change we have like a little like internal tracker where we track our work progress, and we turn the tracker green when we complete one of the tasks, and I have yet to turn a task green, and I'm very sad about that.
Some of those tasks are very funny because it's like update this unit's special rule, and that's a 30-second update. And then some of them are like implement an entire new system. I don't think these deserve their.
You guys will be on vacation at NashCon then.
A little bit, yeah. That's kind of what the conventions are.
We don't have to leave for this one because it's just in our backyard.
Oh, that's right, down the road.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's a good closing thought, actually? Since y'all are building a community, I would like to shout out the fact that we're trying to build a competitive scene. And so we have, for everyone who is watching, wherever you may be, there's a tournament happening at The Adventure Begins in Conroe, Texas in October. We're running a tournament at Phalanx Con in November. And then our second annual tournament is going to happen here in Nashville next April at the Yazoo Brewing Company. We ran a tournament earlier this year, and it was great. There was a lot of fun and a lot of beer, and it went very well. And so if anybody would like to attend, and if y'all would like to ever hold a tournament, since y'all are in Atlanta, we would be more than willing to drive down and participate.
Okay, cool. We might, hopefully we can build a big enough community that we can take you up on that. And yeah, we will. I'll post some links in the notes down here. Your site, your menu. Oh, World Anvil, didn't mention that. That's probably a whole different discussion. Is your lore and your history is outstanding on that. So, but yeah, I've taken up too much of your time. You guys got to go get to work, man, and quit.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to be done.
Thank you again.
And
you're very welcome.
But thanks. And yeah, we'll see you next week. So you guys have a great day. I'm gonna do my little ending and just hang on. We'll be right back.